the most frequently asked question must be, do I use notes when I give a speech?
But it's certainly in the top 10.
Okay, so let's just dig in. Let's just do this. What's the answer? Do I use notes?
It depends on how your brain works. So
Okay.
some people will write the whole thing out.
Mm-hmm.
Some people will have speaker's notes on PowerPoint. Some will have bullet points. Some will have no notes at all. Some will have a note that they have in their jacket pocket or their back pocket that they may use if they need it.
Right.
But they never do. So there's lots of different ways of doing it.
So actually what I really want to know is do I have to feel bad if I haven't memorized it? Do I look?
No.
Really?
No, not at all.
okay.
I quite like it when somebody stands in front of an audience with their notes and say, good evening, everyone. A few things I'd like to talk about this evening. And I think they've prepared. I'd much rather that than somebody standing there waffling.
Right. Okay.
You know, so no. So I think the next level up from that is having no notes. But that's fine. It depends on the situation, doesn't it? Whether how professional you want to look or not. There is a danger. We did this in the wedding podcast. A guy I was working with who had his best man speech on his phone because it was candlelit evening dinner, and halfway through, of course, the phone died because he hadn't charged the battery, and then he was completely stuffed because he was relying on the notes. So
Yeah. So don't
that's
do
the
that.
challenge. Well, you don't want to. Tell you what I did once is I was giving a talk. I tend to have a card in my pocket, and it has some bullet points on it. Right? I don't think I ever used it apart from one time when I was telling a story and it got such a big laugh. I thought, well, I'll tell another funny story. So I got another funny story. I got a huge laugh, and pride came before a fall. And in my head, I went, I'm really funny. And then I had no idea where I was, completely threw myself, right? So I have two options now. I either say to the audience, I'm so sorry, I can't remember where I am. Where was I? Or
And you take out your notes?
Or I asked them, but in this occasion I said, do you know what? I said, I was sitting in my hotel room this morning and there was something I really wanted to tell you. And I took out my notes as if I'd always planned to take it out. In fact, in my head, I'd go, I have no idea where I am.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can use notes, to help you if you want to.
Okay. You've given me a tip when I give a speech is to color code it. And then I hardly have to look down because I feel so confident that if I've lost my way, I just go to red.
Yeah.
Or I go to blue.
Exactly. So there are two benefits to that. One is you can find your place much more easily. If it's all in black, like this, sort of black, a font 12 or 14, you can lose your place. One simple thing you can do with notes, actually, is you can just draw a red line across the middle of the page, and immediately you know if you're a centimetre above or 2 centimetres below. So that can help.
Oh, that's a good idea.
But colours are good because they also actually help in your mind where you are. And if you put a colour for a section, it's also helpful. So maybe a warm section you put in blue, and a more challenging section you put in red. And that would maybe affect the way you read it as well.
Yeah. Can I ask a very particular thing? What if you need reading glasses?
I know. This is a really tricky one, isn't it? Because a lot of people say to me, yeah, but if I wear my reading glasses on the thing, I just look old. So they have this thing about I don't want to look old. And I said, well, yes, but you could call it wisdom. You could call it wisdom. So lots of different ways of looking at it. I would say, for me, my eyesight's not as good as it was when I was younger. It's not bad. I just have a bigger font.
Oh,
I just have a bigger font.
Okay.
But so I've got the mind of an actor, so I could learn lots of hours of dialogue if I had to, because that's what actors do. So that my memory is not an issue for me, but for many people, it's how much do I write down and how much do I not write down? That's the big dilemma. Yeah. And I would say the simplest thing is to put it in sections. So when you're constructing your speech, do certain sections like that. And you might be able to do certain sections without notes. And on our storytelling podcast, the reason we said tell stories is that you know the story, you don't have to write it down. It's a whole section.
And you don't have to read it.
A whole section, you don't have to have notes. So you can help yourself out. To become a public speaking expert yourself, visit my website, robinkermode.com, and take my online masterclass. Or watch more of my videos here on YouTube. And please do subscribe to my channel.